destined to fulfill.
You've taken the graveyard. You've lost the quarry.
Hello people, what is going on? It is the Puckington here, and I've got you some Guild Wars 2 gameplay on Legacy of the Foefire ranked structured PvP. I am rocking the wreaking mesmer build, which is based on shatter abilities. I've got the sword and pistol, and then the 2H, and the rest is history. So for this commentary today, I'm going to try my best to commentate what you're going to be seeing on the screen to give you a little better understanding as to what is going on in this cluster of madness. So as you saw, I came piling in, just started splashing some damage around, scaring the thief off and getting my teammate up. That is one of the most basic things that people seem to forget. When you lose a man, you are now 4v5. So I can't stress enough how important it is to keep your teammates alive and to make sure as well to down your enemies. It's not about fair fights, it's not about 1v1, it's about winning the game. And the only way to win is as a team, to overwhelm the enemy, to outbeat the enemy, to outsmart the enemy. But as you can see at the moment, I'm just going around downing all the enemies. I stay on this point, I do actually cap it, I just skipped it for your entertainment. And then I go to mid because they seem to be struggling. I see my teammate down, I go straight in there and go for the revive. They all start closing in, and then whoosh! I get a nice wave off there. Unfortunately, I don't use my invulnerability skill, which would have stopped that stun, and I maybe could have got my teammate up, so that was a bad play on my part. But regardless, I start splashing the area around me, scattering everyone, and then I decide to get out of there. I'm not sure if it was the best play because I left the cap point open for the enemy, but regardless, I just had to reassess the situation before I started getting squished on. I start taking out this warrior, and as you notice, in any second now, my teammate over there will go down. So it becomes urgent that I down this warrior. Fortunately enough, I do actually get the stomp and revive the teammate. And as you can see there, the thief is also down. My team manages to take him out and revive our fallen ally. At this point, we pretty much got a hold on mid, and we're the dominant force at the moment. I'm not too sure if my team were good, or if their team was bad, or if I was just really good, but I felt like the dominant force. I was always on the top of the leaderboards, and I always felt like I was going around reviving and downing enemies. I did stay only between close and mid because I feel like that's the most important. You only go far if the situation permits it, and that means basically you've got a good strong circulation, a good momentum going from close and mid, because once you've got those two solidly grounded, you're almost guaranteed to win. It is just a matter of keeping up a good team rotation, so you never want to go really anywhere alone unless you know you can certainly handle the situation. But generally you always want to be roaming in pairs, you never want to make a fair fight. Back to the gameplay though, as you can see, I switched my attention to this warrior who's just sort of trying to pierce from the distance, but you know, he was using the bow the whole game and he was really squishy. I really don't know what he was trying to do because he wasn't actually contributing to his team, I don't think, as much as he thinks he was. But I decided to leave him and continue to the cap point because I think that was obviously more important. I don't think he was dealing enough damage for me to care. So I go for this thief, quickly squish this thief out, and then go for the down. And while I'm downing him, I actually realised the warrior's come onto the point now. So it's now time to show the warrior what's going to happen. I just start cleaving, slapping out combos, and pretty much giving him no chance to survive whatsoever. Moving on, I'm going to talk a bit about why I chose Guild Wars 2, because at the moment we've pretty much solidified most of the match. We're going to go mid, we're going to cap, etc, etc. But I actually want to take this time and talk a little bit about why I chose and play Guild Wars 2, specifically structured PvP, because I've always been a Guild Wars fan. I've always loved Guild Wars 1. When this game first came out, I wasn't too fond of it. I mean, I did play PvE. It was really different. The combat style was different. It was more intense, more fast-paced and mobile. You know, you could roll and you could move and use skills at the same time. You know, it was a really big change. I wasn't expecting it from Guild Wars 1. However, I did give it a chance. I did play PvE for quite a while. I didn't really touch PvP too much on launch because it just didn't feel right. There wasn't too much there. I mean, it was just a little stale for me anyway. Although there was a decent competitive team at the time. I don't think ArenaNet put enough effort into creating the esport title that they were actually going for. I think they put a lot more effort into PvE, and I think right now they're starting to realize that PvE is what is giving the game most sales and most input, and as a result they're kind of neglecting PvP a little bit. Hopefully with Heart of Thorns they're going to prove me wrong, because I am just in love with this competitive game, and I feel like although it is somewhat a casual game, PvE is always going to be competitive. You know, you can play a really easy meta class, but in order to play against the pros, you do have to have that competitive edge. You know, you can't just come in there and rock a Power Ranger and assume you're going to win against a well-rounded team. You're not, because the team's going to make better decisions. They're going to counter you so much more easier, and once you do get in a situation that you don't know how to get out of, they will drop you in an instant. Otherwise, I do urge people to really give this game a go. You know, I don't know if you are an MMO fan, a massively multiplayer online RPG fan, but if you do love the competitive edge to PvP, then I definitely recommend giving this game a try. And look at this guy trying to fear me off. All I did is press Q to activate my burst shatter skill. But yeah, at the moment the battle for mid is going to start again, but we have a Power Ranger up the top there sniping down. We've got a good hold. I think we've got 2 or 3 of us on mid at the moment. Yeah, the rest is history. The rest is just self-explanatory. I don't even have to commentate on what's going to happen next. There's just going to be loads of burst damage, loads of cleaving, and loads of deaths on the enemy side, so I do feel for them on this match. So while you watch the rest of the gameplay, I'm going to talk a little bit about why, or what ArenaNet needs to look at, maybe focus on, to make this game more competitive, to make people realize that this game is a bit more serious than what it actually is. First of all, I think they need to add tier PvP. You know, not only unranked and ranked, you know, 2 small options of choice. You know, a lot of people who go ranked are testing the build as well, and people in ranked get frustrated at this. You know, you might have a low level character going into ranked, and again, people just get frustrated. As the more frustration comes of this, the more people end up quitting, the more people give it a bad feedback, and the more people scare other people away. So what I think they need to do is add tier PvP, which is basically almost the same as League of Legends, where you've got bronze, silver, and gold, and then I think diamond. I think it's in that order. If gold is there, I'm not too sure. But regardless, as a result of this, only the professionals are playing on diamond, for example. You know, obviously all of it takes time, so over a certain period of time you'll eventually get there, but having these tiers differentiates, you know, the noobs, as they call them, to the pros. And that is what this game misses. This game only has unranked and ranked, and of course it has some ESL tournaments, it has other tournaments, but it's really difficult to get into the competitive scene if you're not already in it. But yeah, to sum it up, I think the game lacks the ability to differentiate the noobs from the pros, just simply because there is no place to separate themselves from the noobs. And I don't use noobs in a derogatory way, because I was a noob at one point. We were all noobs at one point, and it's also important that noobs get a place that they can go and not get stomped on all the time. Because even like the professionals, if they're trying out a new build, they're going to jump onto unranked and they're going to stomp, because they have better map knowledge, they have better understanding of the game as a whole. So regardless of their ability to use their build at its maximum capability, they will still always stomp the new guys. If the new guy is not prepared to learn through all that beasting, if you will, they will quit. And that is where the PvP stands today. Although it is beautiful, it's amazing, it's got everything there, these small tweaks, and I'm going to talk about this a lot more in the future videos, but I just thought I'd touch on it a little bit while you enjoy my beasting gameplay. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed. This has been Puck. Peace.